This is how I currently craft my items, and it's terrible. So to fix that, I'm gonna be building the world's largest auto crafter, equipped with farms that produce every essential crafting material, an auto sorter with every item in the game in it, and finally, I'm gonna be building a machine that can craft over 3.5 million items per hour. And I'm gonna be doing all that right here. So let's start by making the outline, which as you can see is pretty big. And since I want the auto crafter to look as realistic as possible, we're gonna need a lot of unique materials, such as 7,877 pieces of deep slate, 17,259 pieces of cobblestone. My pickaxe sure isn't liking this one. Finally, I need to collect loads of gray wool, gray concrete, and for some reason, I also need coal ore. I sure hope I'm not just wasting my time to make it end up looking like this. Anyways, it's been a few hours and here are the materials I got to show. And I know it doesn't look like much, but let's just start building and see how far we can get. Yeah, I'm not even close to done. So what I'm instead gonna do is build all the farms necessary to get all the materials needed to build the auto crafter inside the auto crafter. Then I'm gonna build the shell around them. And since the material I need the most of is cobblestone, why not start with that? So we're gonna be building a cobblestone generator. And it's actually super easy. The only materials we need are cobblestone, leaves, lava, water, and a couple other redstone materials. And now that we got them, we can build the farm, which is pretty much just these pillars of cobblestone with waterlogged leaves. Then if we make this little redstone contraption, the farm is complete. And that was almost as easy as killing wandering traders. So now we just gotta sit here for about 15 minutes since the farm produces 75,000 cobblestone an hour. And now that we got the cobblestone, we can get to work. Okay, so I just finished placing down all the cobblestone, and as you can see, I'm only about 10% complete. I might have underestimated how big this project actually is. So that's why I just speedran making a tree farm. And to use it, we just gotta turn it on, and now we just gotta sit here and place down all the saplings. Wait, why isn't it working? Oh, I forgot the bone meal. Yeah, this isn't gonna cut it. I just spent the last 20 minutes killing skeletons for bone meal, and this is all the wood I got. I need over 11,000. That took over 3 hours, and going from village to village stealing all the hay bales to make target blocks didn't help at all, but at least we got all the wood, and it's actually insane how much this farm produces. But anyways, now that we got all the wood, we just need to place it all down. And I also went ahead and placed down the 1,273 spruce logs along with the 7,388 stripped oak logs. And getting that much stripped logs was not fun. I literally had to make a whole separate machine just to strip them. But after I got them all, I just put my head down and placed them all down. And I also went ahead and added all the other types of wood I was missing to the build. And I really hope this ends up looking good, since I don't know how jungle logs are gonna end up looking like an auto crafter. But I guess I'll just have to trust the process. So with that being said, the next material we need to get is dirt? Wait. Dirt? Yo, wait, that actually looks really good. I totally wasn't worried. Anyways, with all the wood type blocks placed down, we can move on to collecting the last 2 types of blocks needed. The first one being the nether type blocks, and for these I'm just gonna tear down an entire fortress. So with the help of some magic, the fortress has magically disappeared. Okay, it turns out I need a lot less nether bricks than I thought. But hey, sometimes less is more, right? Anyways, the second nether block we need to get is red nether bricks, and to make these you need to get 2 nether bricks that you get from smelting netherrack. Then you combine those 2 bricks with 2 nether wart to make 1 red nether brick, and I have to do that 2,978 times. So I built a nether wart farm, and it's been over an hour and I got a grand total of 142 nether bricks. And after doing some simple calculations, I've realized that it'll take, let me think, way too long. So I'm just gonna use red concrete instead. And with that done, the last bit of materials we need to get are all the gray colored blocks. And this is where the blocks start getting a lot harder due to all the materials I need to get, such as 14,132 coal, 12,502 smooth stone, 9,474 gray wool, and there's also a couple other materials I need, but those are actually a bit easier. So we'll get those first. And this build is starting to look really good. You can see those are like the eye thingies, and you can also see the crafting grid on top. But with that done, we can move on to collecting the final handful of blocks. And I'm actually going to start with the smooth stone, which I'm just going to get by putting the stone that I got from making this farm into this mini super smelter. And while I wait for that to smelt, I'm going to be building a wool farm. And the only hard part about this farm is getting lots and lots and lots of sheep into the farm. Like, why won't he get in? Anyways, the last item on the materials list is coal ore, and I don't just need a small amount. I need 14,132. That's kind of a lot. Luckily, I've devised a game plan, which requires me to transfer myself to the infinite dimension snapshot. And while this may seem like any ordinary Minecraft update, if I type the word ore in the book, then toss into a nether portal, it'll take me to the ore dimension, which as you can see is filled with coal ore. So now all that's left is to get to mining. Okay, so it's been several hours and I finally got all the coal needed. So now all that's left is to add the 3 types of blocks missing to the auto crafter. And finally, I'm going to replace the outline with a more detailed one just to add that finishing touch. And with that, the shell of the world's largest auto crafter is complete. And this took over 30 hours, but it was so worth it. You can literally see it from a mile away and look at how good it looks. And now with the outside finished, it's time to start working on the interior. And here in the middle is where I'm going to be building the main auto sorter that will hold every material in the game, which will make getting and crafting an item infinitely easier. Then I'm going to be surrounding the auto sorter with farms that produce an infinite amount of every essential crafting material like iron, wood, and so much more. Finally, I'm going to be building a machine that can craft over 3.5 million items per hour. But before we do any of that, I want to let you know that we're getting really close to 250,000 subscribers. So if you're enjoying the video so far, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thanks again, and I think it's time to get back to the video. So with that being said, the first farm I'm going to be working on is a huge iron farm that produces over 8,000 iron ingots per hour. And I actually already have all the materials for it. And that's the building part complete, meaning I just need 12 villagers and 2 zombies. The only problem is I don't have villagers or zombies. So that's why I built a villager breeder. And the way it works is the villagers will pop out a baby. Then when it's time to go to bed, they'll try going to their bed, but they'll just fall into the collection chamber, which as you can tell, the design is very humane. But now that the breeder is complete, we just need to make a very long railway leading to the farm where the villagers will be trapped and forced to work for the rest of their lives. Mwahahaha. Moving on, the next thing I gotta do is trap 2 zombies. So for this, I'm just gonna make a really long staircase leading up to the farm. Then I'm gonna lure the zombies into the farm. Finally, I'm gonna build the spawning platform and the nether portal so the golems can get sent to the killing chamber. And that's the first row of the farm complete. But since this layer only produces about 2,000 iron an hour, I'm gonna be stacking 3 more layers on top. So wait, you actually thought I was gonna do that again? No. I'm gonna be using the power of editing to do it for me. And now with the overworld side done, we can move on to the collection system, which is just a nether portal with glass around it. Then there's some chests, hoppers, lava, and finally I need to get a chicken in a boat, then put him in the middle of the nether portal. And what this does is it pushes the iron golems coming through the nether portal into the lava, which in turn makes the farm a lot more effective. So now, before we move on to the next farm, I'm gonna be making a floor for the auto crafter, because right now it's kind of just ugly. Like there's just too much grass and stone just laying around. So let's start by digging out the area 2 blocks down. And if you're wondering why I'm doing 2 blocks, you'll see why in a bit. So let's start by making some beacons and digging out the area. Bro, this is like the 3rd pickaxe I've broken this video. Okay, so I just got done clearing out the area and that literally took like 3 hours. Yeah, it was not fun. Like not fun at all. But now that I'm done, I can start getting the materials for the design, which consists of 3 main blocks. 15,119 stripped birch logs. 6,069 orange terracotta. Nice. And finally, I need 1,905 yellow terracotta. And now, all that's left is to place all the materials down. And if you're wondering what design I ended up going with, I used the oak texture from the Bare Bones texture pack, since in my opinion, it just looks super clean. Okay, and with that, bro. Well, I guess that proves my next point, which is that we got a mob problem. And that's why I actually dug the hole 2 layers deep. You see, since mobs can't spawn on glass, I'm gonna be making a huge glass layer over the design. And having said that, that means I need 25,000 glass. And if I were to use the same smelter as earlier, it would take over 5 hours. And I don't know about you, but I'm not trying to waste the next 5 hours of my life sitting here doing nothing. So I'm instead going to be building the next farm, which is a super smelter. But it's not just any ordinary super smelter. This super smelter can smelt 10 stacks of items in just 2 minutes. And since I already have all the materials for it, all that's left now is to build it. And now that I'm done building it, the last thing I need to do is get a fuel source. But since getting coal manually takes way too long, I'm gonna be using these carpet dupers instead. Since I don't know if you knew or not, but you can actually use carpet as fuel. Also, now that I'm using these carpet dupers, I'll never have to worry about getting fuel again, since they produce over 60,000 carpet an hour, which is pretty crazy. But now that I'm done with the super smelter, I just need to spend some time AFK in the sand duper. And now all that's left is for me to place all 25,000 pieces of glass down. Okay, so I just finished placing down all the glass and my fingers hurt. Well, they actually hurt a lot. Who would have thought that placing 25,000 pieces of glass down isn't easy? But now that I'm done, we can move on to the last farm, which is a sugarcane farm. And the reason I'm building this farm is because you need sugarcane to craft rockets. And since I'm always running out of rockets, why not craft a farm for them? And the only material I'm actually missing for this sugarcane farm is sugarcane. Huh, it's kind of ironic that I need sugarcane to make a sugarcane farm, but the whole reason I'm making a sugarcane farm is because I don't want to get sugarcane manually, meaning this sugarcane farm is beating the purpose of a sugarcane farm. Okay, I'm done saying sugarcane for now. So let's build the farm, and the first step to actually build the farm is making a huge 50-block long row of sugarcane and water. Then I'm gonna be making this spaceship looking thing, which is actually a flying machine that will collect all the sugarcane. Finally, the last step is... Wait, I'm actually done with the farm. That was pretty easy. So now that I'm done, I'm gonna be decorating it. And I'm thinking of a simpler design and just adding oak logs around it, just like villagers do. Actually, I think I'm gonna strip the logs so they actually match the floor a lot more. Yeah, that looks a lot better. So now with that farm done, we can move on to a gunpowder farm, is what I would normally say. But I actually already have one, and it's right next to the auto crafter, so I'm not even gonna bother making another one. And that was the last big farm I was gonna make. So now I'm gonna be building a couple smaller farms. And to be honest, I don't even know if you could call these farms, but I'm still gonna call them mini farms. And as you can see, there's actually going to be 4 of them, with the first one being an XP shower. And this will actually help me repair all my tools and elytras without having to fly to my XP farm that's thousands and thousands of blocks away, which will in turn make my life a lot easier. Also, as you can see, I decorated them to keep the same theme as the auto crafter. So now let's build another item shower, and this one will give me rockets. Also, if you're wondering how to restock them, you just gotta fly up here and put the items into this chest. Also, when the auto crafter actually comes out, this will be completely automatic since I can just link the sugarcane and gunpowder farm up to this machine. So now for the next mini farm, I'm gonna be adding an enchanting table setup. So let's start by making a really cool checkerboard pattern by using some logs. Then let's add the enchanting table, bookshelves, some chests, a suspicious looking stack of anvils, and finally a grindstone. And I know it's not the prettiest looking mini farm, but this one's more for utility. So now for the final station, I'm gonna be adding one of every workbench in the game, since who knows when you'll be walking down the street one day and think, I think I need a loom. Now with all the farms done, I'm gonna be moving on to the collection system that has every item in the game in it. And even though I picked out the easiest design, look at the materials list. Yeah, maybe it wasn't the easiest design. Okay, so I just spent way too much time getting all the materials, and I don't know whose idea at Mojang it was to make blue ice so expensive. You literally need 81 pieces of normal ice to make one blue ice, and I needed 900 pieces of blue ice. Like, who comes up with that? Anyways, it's time to start building the auto sorter, and I'm actually gonna start by making the main chest area. Then I'm gonna dig 2 trenches behind the chest and fill them with blue ice. Next, I'm gonna be doing some super simple redstone, which I totally know how it works. Okay, so I just got done with the first part of the redstone, and these sections are going to be the bulk items. For example, anything that I have loads of, like cobblestone, wool, iron, and anything else will automatically get put into shulker boxes, then put into these chests. And there's actually enough slots for 58 different bulk items. So with that being said, I'm gonna get all the bulk items, which I mostly have laying around. And now to actually put them to the system, I first have to rename some sticks, then put a stack of whatever item I want sorted into the hopper, and finally fill the rest of the hopper with renamed sticks. And then I just gotta rinse and repeat this process for the rest of the hoppers. Okay, and I just finished configuring the hoppers, and I actually ended up leaving about half of them empty since I didn't know what else I had a lot of materials of. So I'll just fill them in later. So now with that done, I'm gonna be putting the items I put into the hoppers onto item frames so I know what's what. Then I'm gonna be making a bubble column. And finally, I'm gonna be doing some more simple redstone. Okay, so I just got done with most of the redstone, meaning it's time to start filling the item sorters. And it's important to note that I'm assigning each item in the game to a different category. For example, instead of having 16 different chests, one for each different colored concrete block, I'm gonna have them all filter into one single double chest. And the benefits of doing this is that it saves me a ton and a ton and a ton of building materials. And it also makes the storage system a lot smaller. So with that being said, we need to start by renaming 100 stacks of sticks. No, not my precious levels. Anyways, now that we got the sticks, I just need to get into this chest, then put 2 non-stackable items in it. Next, I need to put a stack plus 5 sticks in it. And finally, I need to fill the rest of the chest with sticks. And how it works is, I have to take out a stick, then replace it with the item I want filtered. So with that being said, let's spend some time filling the rest of the chest with sticks. And now with that out of the way, I can start working on the first chest, which is going to be the deep slate chest. So let's start by getting lots and lots of deep slate. Then we can make all the different types of deep slate items, such as polished deep slate slabs, polished deep slate stairs, polished deep slate walls, deep slate bricks, and there's also a bunch of other deep slate items, but I think you've heard me say deep slate enough. So now with the deep slate section done, we can start moving on to the other categories. And since I've been playing this world for almost 5,000 days already, I actually already have a huge stockpile of items. So and that's all the chests sorted. And most of the items were really easy, like the different types of wood and different colored dyes. But there were also some scary ones, like the deep dark items. Man, I never want to go there again. But after spending way too much hours grinding, I have finally finished the item filters. Man, that took so long, I feel like an old man. I should probably go touch some grass now. Anyways, now that I got all the items for the auto sorter, I just need to finish up the redstone part of it. And now I need 5 allays. But as you might already know, I don't got 5 allays. On second thoughts, how do you even get allays? So I did some research and it turns out you get allays from pillager outposts. And after a bit of searching, I found an outpost with allays. So now I just gotta walk them several thousand blocks back to my base. That's gonna be fun. Also, I decided to name the allay Robert. Yeah, Robert's my friend now. Anyways, after getting back to my base, I stuffed Robert into a hole. So now I just gotta breed him. How do you breed allays again? So I searched it up and it turns out to breed allays, you need to first play some swaggy music. Then you need to feed them some amethyst shards. And doing that will duplicate him. So with that out of the way, we just need to do the final bit of redstone. And that's the auto sorter complete. And how it works is you just dump your whole inventory into this chest, then wait a bit. And after waiting a bit, you have to wait a bit longer. And now, only now, if I did everything right, yes, it works. The items get automatically sorted. Let's go. You know, I was like 10% sure that would actually work. But with that done, we can move on to the machine that crafts over 3 million items per hour. And I actually already have all the materials for it. Well, all the materials except honey. So let's wait till nighttime, grab some bee nests, destroy some blocks, place a chest and some hoppers down. Then let's place down some mud, flowers, building blocks, redstone, and finally the bee nest. And that's the honey farm complete. So now I just gotta AFK the farm till I get enough honey. Also, now that I got honey, I'm gonna be making a 4x4 piston door, so these annoying mobs will leave me alone. And now with that out of the way, I can finally move on to the machine. And building it is actually surprisingly easy. It's pretty much just some packed ice, glass, sea pickles. Man, I love pickles. And finally, a bit of simple redstone. Scratch that. I also need to add some chests. But with that, the whole machine is complete. So now to actually use it, I first have to come up here and put items into these chests. And each chest represents a space in the crafting menu, which is why there's 9 chests. And after placing all the items into the chests, you have to come down here and flick this lever. Then, using a mod called Item Scroller, I just have to hit a keybind on my keyboard and all the items will automatically be crafted. And as you can see, it's insanely fast. Also, if you're wondering what I was crafting, it was buttons. Why buttons, you may ask? I don't know, that's a good question. But if for some reason I ever need thousands and thousands and thousands of buttons, at least I'll have them. So with the world's largest auto crafter complete, I'll never have to craft my items like this again. Also, if you enjoyed this episode, YouTube thinks you'll like the ones on screen. I'm not gonna lie, I think I made this a bit too big.